and welcome back, everybody. It is Friday, and Maddie and I were just talking about how we are feeling the Fridayness. I said I feel hungover and I haven't drinking, so that's like the vibe that you're getting us today, like silly, goofy moods.
I'm just Delulu. When did I get back? I got back Sunday night and it's just been like go, 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 like
Yeah.
since I got back.
And like you went to Mexico, you had a little bit of a break, and then you went again, and then it's the end of the year, and it's like holy shit, there's so much to do. And the week between like Christmas and New Year's, it just doesn't feel real. But like we're business owners, so like we're still showing up in some capacity. But I swear, I feel like I'm in like Delulu land. I don't know what's happening.
I do too. Like honestly, this whole week I've just everything I would have done last week, I'm doing now, like closing out 2024. All the finances, KPIs, planning, or sorry, 2023, planning
Yeah,
2024. Like I'm like, I need my plans for next year. Like I don't have them ready. I have a general idea, but
yeah.
now it's just like I've been doing that since I've gotten home and taking care of all random stuff. And then I even started like I love having like life goals, like, oh, I want to do this, and I categorize them like, I'll do like, okay, what do I want to do like intellectually? Like I want to read so many
Mm,
books, Spanish, yada yada yada. And I was like, I want to clean out all the rooms in the house. I love throwing
I
shit away.
love that.
I like literally I was like, oh, I can't wait to like clean out the kitchen and get rid of like old gross things that like just don't work. And I'm like, why am I keeping this?
Yeah, we have been doing that because of things. And I'm
So
like losing.
secretive.
Yeah, I'm losing. I will share when it's like done and done.
Mhm.
But I am like losing my mind, like going through everything that's like half open or expired. I'm like, oh my God,
Ugh.
like I just feel so wasteful. I'm like throwing out like these like I had bought like a bunch of like different like things like black beans and all that sort of stuff to make chili. I never make it. Like it's just I feel like I don't even like it that much, but in my head I was like, "Oh, this is like so easy and like it's good for like after skiing and whatever." They somehow made it from where we lived in Bridgewater to Vermont. I'm like, "Why the fuck would I bring these?" Because I never
Are
used
they
them there.
cans?
Yeah. But like they're like kind of like expired or like some are like kind of a little dented from the move and like you're not supposed to eat like out of a dented can because like
What?
you can get like botulism
I've
from like
never
the
heard that
rust.
before.
Really? Okay, if you're watching on YouTube, drop below. Have you heard of this? If a can is dented, you are not supposed to eat from it because like the rust kind of leaks into the food, I would imagine. And I'm like 99% sure it can cause botulism.
I should
But
have
yeah,
botulism by now.
I mean, the girl, maybe it's like working its little ways into like it's like just making your skin like look perfect and it's like freezing it.
Look perfect. That's a joke. I just did like have you heard of like oil pulling for your face?
Okay, yes, but like, does it really
Love it.
work?
Oh
Because
my
like,
God. So,
how do you do it?
yes.
Give me the deets.
So what I do is I get my walking pad out. I turn on some educational YouTube videos that are on my docket to watch. And then I just get my oil and I go to freaking town on my nose. Because like my dad holds a lot of
Mm,
like just oil and like sebaceous filaments and gross
yes.
shit. I have that in my nose like my whole life. And even when I put like because I don't use foundation, I just use a tinted sunscreen, Sunbum. I use that in my face as foundation because I just don't care for makeup. And whenever my nose is like super clogged, it doesn't like set right on my nose and it
Right.
just looks like white, not whiteheads. I don't know how to explain it. It looks gross.
Yeah, I think like doesn't like sebaceous filament like kind of people would be like, "Oh, I have like blackheads or like pimples," and but it
It's like
really is just the oils.
yeah, yeah, and it could be also like hair too. It's weird. But
Oh.
anyways, yeah, that's not
I
what I
never
have.
knew
I
that.
don't have a hairy nose.
Is that scary? Oh my God. Like,
I don't know.
oh, that's
So
crazy.
I make a combination of jojoba oil and rosehip oil. And literally, like, I don't do anything special. I just like fill like 75% jojoba and then fill the rest of the little tube with like rosehip. And then I just put some on my hands, squeeze it, and then I just literally go to freaking town. Like my nose is red right now because I did it for half an hour. But
Oh my
while
God.
you're it doesn't start working for me at least until like 7 to 10 minutes in. So it's
Oh,
a lot of like you have to put in work, which is why I walk and watch something on YouTube and get work done while I'm doing it. So I'm like getting something done still. But literally I like have to work like that area of your nose, the tip of my nose, and you'll see like I tell you, 7 to 10 minutes in, I get like weird little beady things all over my
yeah.
fingers and like little like black dots all over my fingers. And like I'll change the way I'm doing it with my hand, and then like so much more will come out. And then it's like you almost can't stop because you're like so
Yeah.
much is coming out. And like I was like, wait, my nose is really red right now. Like 30 minutes in, I need to quit. I'm like becoming
Yeah.
like an addict. But I need to do it like 2 to 3 times a week. And then I'll follow it up like tonight. Well, I'm actually going to get a sauna today to help with my autoimmune. So tonight I'm gonna do, and I wanted to do this before I went to the sauna because like I'm like just get everything out.
Yeah.
Tonight I'm gonna do a sulfur mask. That's really good. Whoop, you good?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really good to pair it with sulfur treatment for
Ooh.
your nose. For me, that's really helpful with my pores. So I'll do the oil pulling and then I'll do a sulfur mask at night. But
Oh
it
my God.
works.
Iconic. Because I've seen like the videos on TikTok and it'll be like, do for like 3 to 5 minutes and you'll start noticing. And I would try, like, I tried it because sometimes I will like double cleanse, like I'll do an oil cleanser and then like a regular
I
cleanser.
double
Um,
cleanse.
and I will do it like in certain areas, like on my like, I feel like in my T zone, I'm like
Hmm.
more apt. My forehead, not so much anymore. But I was doing it like 3, 5 minutes, and I'm just like watching, like you're like, I'm watching educational shit. I'm like, I'm watching fucking Real Housewives because like the brain is like not braining. But I didn't notice anything. So maybe I'm
Yeah,
gonna try
you
it
gotta
and
do
like,
it for longer.
okay,
I'm
because
telling you, for
I,
me, it's like 7 minutes, around
yeah.
7 to 10, and then it's like 15 minutes in, it's just like coming out like a
Oh my
demon. Like
God.
it's so satisfying.
Do you like watching pimple popping
Nah.
videos?
No, no.
Bitch,
Funny
you're
story.
giving me that energy
No.
right now, though.
Because it's not gross. It's just little like rocks almost, like little like
Oh,
pieces of like
sounds
I
worse.
know, but like when I look at them in my hands, like it just looks like little tiny pebbles that look like nothing. So it's like not like
That
oozy.
doesn't
It's
freak
not
you out though.
no, I'm just like, oh good, my nose is getting clean, like
Because like
it's
I
not
have what's the like tetraphobia? Like this, like if you look at like if you look at a honeycomb, like a picture of a honeycomb, does it make you uncomfortable?
no
Okay, I don't fucking like it. I never knew what it was. I don't like looking
honeycomb.
like I no, well, it's not just honeycomb. Let me look at it's like I think it's called tetraphobia, but it's like little holes like
Tetra.
all together. I'm gonna
Oh, tetraphobia. Hmm.
is that what it's maybe I'm lying.
Are you just like collecting all the phobias?
Yeah. What's new?
Tetraphobia,
Maybe
meaning.
that's not what it's called.
Wait,
Fear.
wait, wait.
Oh,
Tet-
that's not
Wait, tetraphobia? Guys, tetraphobia is the fear of number four.
that's not what I mean.
What?
I mean the tiny holes phobia. Oh, it's trypophobia, trypophobia. It's
Uh,
this. Like the holes. That
ew, ew.
it
Okay,
grosses me out.
that's
Yeah.
different. That is like that makes me want to throw up. Okay, you're right. I have
Yeah.
that a little bit, but not the honeycomb.
But
And
it's
not with
just
number four.
it's the yeah, no, I know that's like kind of iconic. No, but it's like the idea I think of like looking at little like circle things on my nose.
Hmm.
Like I feel like that would sketch me out.
Oh,
That would
okay. I
sketch
can
me
see
out.
that.
But
Yeah,
I don't know. So I'm gonna try it. But like
try
you're
it.
giving me the energy of like you watching pimple popping videos because I
Nope.
love,
No.
love, love.
No. I tried watching The Artful Dodger a couple days ago.
Okay.
I keep seeing so
Oh,
many
yeah.
I keep seeing so many TikToks on it. I'm like, I gotta watch this. And it's like not like to spoil it. It's like you can't ask me what time period this is. I never know. I'm like 1800s. I always say 1800s. Like I really don't know. Anyway,
Yeah,
it's like in the time period where like people like had big dresses and like literally like pissed themselves from their dress because like it had so many layers. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
It's
I'm
like
just imagining.
yes, it's like Bridgerton era. So
Oh, okay.
anyway, I think. So anyway, this guy's like a surgeon from the Navy, and they're doing surgeries literally. Like he like walks into the OR and just like rolls his sleeves up, and he's like, "I'm ready." Like
Ah,
they don't clean anything. They don't wear any gloves. Like the one guy got blood in his eye. Anyway, he goes
oh,
like as soon as I start it, the guy's like literally like I'm gonna hack this guy's leg off in 30 seconds or less, and they're showing it. I'm like, I can't do like I'm trying to eat while I watch.
no,
I
no.
can't no. And then like there were just too many gross things and too much like I get that like the parasocial relationship we talked about. I get that when I'm watching movies and someone gets cut. I'm like,
Like
my
phantom
leg.
pain. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes. Like I
Oh my
feel the
God.
incision. I was like, nope. I
Oh.
got through maybe dying. I got through maybe half an episode and I'm like, this is not for me.
Not while you're eating too,
I
Maddie.
know.
Oh,
Yeah.
Christ. No, no.
So that
That's
ended
scary.
quickly. Yeah.
So that, and I've been seeing like so much about Saltburn, and I have no idea what
Mhm.
Saltburn's about, but people are like, oh, the bathtub scene. Oh, I'm like, if I
Um,
watch that and y'all are like complaining about nothing, like I can't.
I think I keep seeing some things like
I
on
don't even know what it's
TikToks.
about. Do you know what it's about?
Yeah, I watched it. Um,
Oh, okay.
basically, do you want me to tell you? I'm like,
Give me like a trailer. Kind of like
okay,
don't tell the ending, don't tell big stuff, but like just a little idea.
okay. It's just kids at Oxford.
Okay.
And one of them has like this very like crazy luxe, like lash life living in like a house like Bridgerton. And this guy has like no friends and he gets befriended by him. And it just
Okay.
shows you what happens throughout it. And there's a lot of twists and turns. Like, didn't see that coming. Like, I don't want to, if I honestly went into it literally knowing just that basically
Okay.
this guy becomes friends with a very popular kid with a beautiful house and a crazy extravagant life, and that's what happens. And his life changes when he goes and lives with him at
Mm.
Saltburn. And house is
Okay.
where they call it Saltburn.
Oh, they
Um,
call the house that.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And there's partying and drugs and all this crazy stuff, and like he was like a nerd and that kind of thing. But
Is Jacob Elordi the rich kid?
yes,
Oh,
yes.
I love
Um,
him. Oh,
but I love a duality because so do I. Because in Euphoria, he was such a hated character. In this one, he's so
yeah.
loved. I'm like, wow, he's like a
Oh, I
really
love
good actor.
that.
Yeah. So I was just that's all I knew going into it, nothing else. And I think that was like, whoa, like that helped me, I think, kind of like be more surprised, be more into it. But I really didn't
Yeah.
see it coming, like what happened. But I've heard some things about part of the reason why they made Saltburn was like just to see how far they could push actors and push like what the like freak the audience out is kind of like what they
Okay.
wanted to do. Because there are just like some weird ass scenes, like the bathtub scene, and like I was like bleh, vomiting like watching this. And just like it's like a train wreck. Like you can't look away. It was so weird. But good, but like the acting, the cinematography, like I love the look of it. Like it was good for a lot of those reasons, but like I wouldn't say it was like my favorite thing. It was just like
Mm.
very weird. Like I just couldn't look away.
It's like an art piece. Like
Yeah,
I'm
I
like
think it was
watching it for
yeah, I think it was definitely
mm,
more on like it was 100% more on the artsy side.
yeah.
But yeah, it was quite interesting.
And where are we watching it? Like what?
Well, I watched on Flickster, but
Oh, you told me about
I've heard it's
that.
on Prime, I think. Prime
Okay,
Video.
perfect. I have Prime. I'm like, what in, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like so out of the loop and I'm like, like, I am like chronically online. How am I out of the loop? Make it
You're on
make
like
sense.
Housewives, that's why. You're like
Well,
Housewives
that's
TikTok.
true. I'm on like the other side of the universe. So, like, ask me about anything else and I got it. But I keep seeing like all these TikToks of like Saltburn and I was like, wait, I don't even know what this movie is. I just saw like when they were doing press, like Jacob Elordi's like in this chair and he like reaches down and gets the coffee for the
Oh
other guy. And I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh my God, I'm
Yes.
obsessed with
Yes.
him. Just like literally obsessed with him. And
Speaking
like,
of TikTok, oh, go ahead.
yes, no, you go. I'm just ranting on about it.
No, it's fine. I want to talk about which I think we both grew up watching this, the Amanda Show.
Yes, of course.
Did you see she came out with a podcast and then
I
stopped it?
did. I did.
Oh,
I
she was
did.
I watched a clip of it and I was like, she was trying. Like she had just she needed some time just to get comfortable and
Yeah.
I mean, I there was so much potential there and I was so sad to see that she just wants to go back to doing nails. And I'm like, no, come on, we love you.
I know. Probably feels like in the sea of like all these supportive comments, there's probably like just a lot of like
Yeah,
douchebags and like
yeah,
mean people and trolls. And she has been like out of the spotlight, like in a positive way for so many years. And then like I hate like it's so sad when childhood stars like they oftentimes like fall into addiction and other things because like you have no idea what they've experienced being a child actor.
yep.
And it's just like, why does the media like exploit them? Like, let them live their fucking lives. Let them just like do their thing. And of course, like, yeah, it's all for the money and whatever, but like let her fucking have her piece and like
I
do
know.
your podcast, girl. We are listening. We want your podcast. Cause she like how iconic was she to like your childhood? Like the Amanda Show was like the kids' SNL. Like it was amazing.
It I just I just feel like I feel like we were and she was like ripped the opportunity, like taken away from her to be like I mean, I've seen people talk about her like she was one of the greatest comedians like of our time. Like she really
Yeah.
was. Like not freaking Matt Rife, he effing sucks by. She was it. Like that was supposed to be her, but in a much better way.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just makes me sad. Me and Mr. always talk about it. Like we just love the Amanda Show and just like remember Know Your Stars. Know Your
Yeah.
Stars. Like Amanda like picks her nose. She's like, no, no, what are you talking about?
All of the bits were literally so good. And me, my sister, like our friends, like we would like, quote like the stuff that happened like in the girls' room or like
The
when
girls'
she like
room. It was
lost her like
SNL. That's what it
it was
was.
literally SNL for kids. Same with like all that. Um,
Oh,
so
yes.
like those two iconic, like that is like such a like core memory of childhood is like
Oh, I
watching those
know.
shows.
I
And
know.
what's the one where her mom is like in the hot air balloon? You know what I'm talking about?
I
Like that
do. I have
bit.
like a brief memory. Does her mom
Like
like
Moody, her name's like Moody or something.
I
And
think it might be.
her dad is like, he's like, "Oh, Moody, like it's your mom's birthday. She's somewhere out there." And then like the mom's in the hot air balloon. She's like, "Moody."
I think I'm gonna go watch that now. Like add that to my
I
docket.
genuinely had a fear of hot air balloons because I was like, I'm gonna end up like that bitch. I'm gonna be lost in space.
Oh God.
Maybe I'd go on it now, but yeah, no, as
I
a kid,
wouldn't.
you wouldn't. Okay, why? Well, obviously it probably is like dangerous and unpredictable.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's why.
Just like I wouldn't like after I went parasailing once when I was like, I don't know, 15, I was like, this is not safe. I'm never doing this again. Like
Where'd you do
whenever
it?
uh I did it with my friend, a childhood friend who I'm still friends with now. Either no, not Myrtle Beach. Where's Six Flags at?
There are a lot of Six Flags.
Okay. It was by a Six Flags.
Okay. So it was not that was it not the best experience or were you just like I don't need to do this again?
I would say like both. Like I don't like heights. So like
Well,
that and like you're
okay.
flailing and like I've just no, and then there's just like that and like zip lining. Like I just feel like there are so many ways you can die. And I do not want to go out that way. And then
Okay.
also like I feel like TikTok has ruined like a lot of things for me, like experiences. So I'm like they show how people like, the thing fails, something fails, the
Oh,
safety
yeah.
harness. Like, oh no, thank you. Like just no. Nope.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, as as agoraphobic as I am, I love that sort of shit. Like zip lining, sign me up. I went skydiving when it was in like not it was in a January, it was, like, a couple years ago, but I was like, "I wanna go, I don't care, I'm not waiting," and so we had to drive a couple states over because there was, like, only one place near us that did it during, like, the winter months, and I'll show you a picture. I had to literally wear this, like, cone cap thing because when you jump, it's, like, negative I don't know, 10, 20. So it's freezing, and then you slowly start to come down, um, and that was so fun, but then I, like, threw up afterwards because I think, like, the adrenaline and all that sort of stuff, but that was so sick. So and, like, we did parasailing and, like, all we always did, like, this, like I don't mind heights, and it's weird because, like, I think you would probably imagine I don't like doing that sort of stuff, but if I'm, like, feel like I'm in control and I'm making the choice to do something, it doesn't scare me. And so,
Mm,
like, I've always wanted to, like, go, like, do, like, a shark dive, like, be in a cage and, like, do, like, a shark thing, but
mhm.
that might stress me out because 'cause you're, like, in the cage. Like, that you can't really
Yeah.
control, but I've
Yeah.
always wanted to do that because I'm like, I don't know, like, I just get off on that, like, the adrenaline, I love it.
You are an adrenaline junkie. I had no idea. Wait, so who did you go parasite? Who did you go skydiving with? By yourself?
Yeah, just by myself. Like, my sister and my friend, we drove down to Connecticut, but I just went, like, with the instructor guy, and he was, like, super cool and whatever, and we just went up in the plane, and he was like, "Alright, lift your legs up, and when I say, like, go, like, don't push back on me," and I was like, "Okay." I was like, "We're fine," and I it was, like, so cool.
I'm like in awe. There's an episode of Joe Rogan that has stuck in my brain, like permanently, like tattooed, and I see it in my head every day. There was a guest he had on, or no, it was a friend of his, okay? And the friend of his said that he works some regular desk job, and this lady every weekend went like skydiving because she like loved the thrill of it. And every
Mm.
Monday he'd be like, "Oh, where'd you skydive?" Because she would fly everywhere to go skydive and blah blah blah. And then one day she didn't come in. He's like, "Oh,
Ugh.
where's Karen or whatever?" And they're like, "She died." Like, and I was just like, "Oh my God!" Like, nope, not jumping out of a plane, and that could be, like,
Yeah,
literally anything, right? Car crash,
totally.
whatever, but I was just like, oh, just, like, the idea of, like it's not like I guess you could say it's not like a car crash because you're not getting into a car going at crazy speed hoping to, like, just fly through the air, like
Right,
but
right.
I was just like, "Oh my god," and I always think about that, like, she just didn't come back one time.
I mean, I'm curious to look into, but I think like malfunctions are like far less likely to happen. Like obviously the more you jump, the higher your chances
Yeah.
go up, but I would do it again like in a warmer like time of the year because when I did it, it was fucking cold and I it was almost so cold that I was like, "I don't feel like I'm, like, fully in this moment."
Oh,
And, like,
yeah.
the guy kept, like, tapping me. He was like, "Put your arms up, put your arms up." I was like, "I'm frozen." He's like, "No, just put your arms up." And it was like, I don't know, like, and I guess my philosophy of it is, like, if you're gonna die, you're gonna die, and, like, what like, I don't know, like, I know, I, like, sound so, I, like, contradict my anxiety, but, like, I'm not really, like I wouldn't be scared of that. Like, maybe in the moment, I'd be fucking scared, like, "Oh, shit, I'm going to die," but the thought of
Uh-huh.
it, I don't know.
Hmm,
But make it make sense.
interesting.
I don't know, just, like, try and get into my brain and understand, like, why I don't wanna go on an airplane, but I'll jump out of one.
Oh, yeah, you freak. Oh my god. Yeah, is it because you're not in control of the airplane?
I think so. Like, and I
Mm,
always say this to people, and I don't mean for this to come off as, like, pretentious, because like, I will never be in one, but if I could, like, be in a private jet, I think I would be so less stressed out, because if I knew
mm,
everybody and it was,
mm,
like, my control,
mm,
but I don't like the unpredictability of people, like,
mm,
in an
mm,
enclosed
mm.
area.
That's how I feel about going on a cruise. You are
Oh,
with thousands of people who
have you
are
ever been
below.
on one?
No, because of
No.
this.
Yeah,
belligerently drunk. Like I've heard lawyers on TikTok say like don't ever go on a cruise. It's just like the laws, things happen. Like
it's scary.
there's always something happening. Like and also like me and Joel don't I don't drink. He barely drinks. And like we really don't eat like an excess amount of food. And that's like what cruises are for. Like get freaking wasted, eat a ton of shit. Like that's just, like, really not on, like, my to-do list, on
Mhm.
vacation, and then also, like, you are basically told where you can go hang out, when you can leave, like, I don't like being controlled like that.
Nope.
Like, it would have to be an empty cruise for me to go on.
Well, I would also like my biggest fear is like I get so like motion sick. So like
Same,
I would
same.
never want to go on a cruise because I would probably be like seasick. And people are always like, the boat's so much bigger. Like you don't actually feel like you're stuck on it and blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, bitch. No. Like it ain't happening. Don't try and get my ass on a cruise.
Yeah.
Do you see those videos like the side of TikTok that's like the North Sea TikTok and it's like, oh wow.
Yes. Yeah.
My literal fear. Like the waves are crashing and I'm like these boats look tiny.
I know. Speaking of that, do you think like sirens and like the evil mermaids are
Oh,
real when they're like,
yes.
help, help,
Yes.
like trying to get people to like
Yes.
go? I think it is too.
I do because like okay, it is so extremely naive to think that we are just here, right?
I 100% agree.
And the ocean, like, there is so much that's, like, been undiscovered because, like, it's so
Literally.
far,
Yep.
especially in the middle of the goddamn sea. Like,
I agree.
that's crazy, and, like, have you seen those videos where it'll be, like, somebody's, like, filming and he's like, "I think they're calling me in, I think they're calling me in," or whatever, and
Yeah,
he,
it's
like,
that one
turn
dude. Like, I swear it's the
yeah,
same dude every time, which gives me a little pause. Like, why is it
right.
always
Do we
you?
believe in it?
Yeah.
But I
But
still do. I
yeah.
do. I do, and maybe, like maybe they have a sixth sense about these things, and maybe the people that they're, like, killing are just, like, absolute douchebags and assholes.
Mm, or maybe they're
Maybe.
just nice people and we just, they're just evil. Like I saw some girl before I went to I know.
You're like,
I saw
"Maybe they're just evil things," and I'm like, "Maybe, I don't know."
I saw before I went to St. Thomas, I was like on like St. Thomas TikTok and like siren TikTok. And
Oh,
this
where
girl
are
was
there, like, a lot of sirens in
Well, there was, we went to the Mermaid's Chair, which is like a
Oh,
beach, and I know
yes.
it's so pretty. If you go to St. Thomas, go to the Mermaid's Chair. It's in Botany Bay. You have to walk through it because it's like basically private property. So unless you have a tag for your car, you have to walk to there, which it was a big ass hill down. It sucked. But anyway, the gate person was telling us how there's a lot of like, old wives' tales about the mermaid's chair and how it's called that because that's where the mermaids will come up and sit on the rocks and that's the chair type thing. But we were asking him like, "Oh, do you believe in that stuff?" He's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, I really think there's stuff out there and we haven't searched all the depths of the ocean and then he said something like, crap, what did he say? And Joel was like, "I've heard that." I don't I don't think he said he believed the earth was flat, but there was another conspiracy he believed. Oh, about the moon, and I was
Hollow
like,
Earth?
maybe, yes, hollow earth." He said
Okay.
hollow earth, and then the moon landing was not real. And then I was like, "Okay, I my belief in this man has just went down many pits." Like mermaids, maybe. Hollow earth, ooh. Moon landing, ooh. Like not believing in that. I was like, "Okay, I believe you this much."
Yeah, you're like, "Bestie, I think we might be on conspiracy theory island right now."
Yes, yes. Super nice guy, but just like it was just you lost me once we got down to the not the moon landing.
They're like,
Um
"Can you can see the strings, look at the lighting."
no, he said he goes I've never heard this in my life. He goes, "There is a bubble that we can't get through in the earth. So like us being on the moon, like we wouldn't be able to get through this bubble." And I was like, "What is he talking about?" Like I've never heard that before.
This man said hashtag science.
Literally. So yeah, that was my thinking there. I was like, okay, but anyway, back to that siren thing. This girl on TikTok was like, I don't wear jewelry into the ocean because it's a offering to the sirens. I don't want to call them in. And I was like, okay, I don't wear jewelry because I want to lose it, but that's a thought too.
Or like in certain waters, like barracudas are like attracted to silver, like the shininess.
Ooh, that's creepy. Didn't know
So
that.
like I'm not gonna wear jewelry in the ocean because like I don't want to lose it, but also
Same.
like I'm not trying to like we I live in like not anymore. I live a little bit above, but like I live in New England. We go to like the Cape for summers. Shark infested waters 24/7. Like it's they're all over the goddamn place because it's just warmer. It's getting warmer water. The water there is
Yeah.
already warm and like in parts of it, like in like this area Chatham, like there's always like shark attacks and like different things. And my mom and I were in like another area called Hyannis, and we were on the beach just like kind of walking, and we saw like a baby shark. And it's like, well, if the babies are coming close, then like there's probably I don't like
Uh
maybe there's not like there's more behind it, but like what did we do the next day? We still went into the water.
God, no.
Psychotic.
We got out of the water because there was a sand shark because they come up and like try to get the
Okay.
little fish, and our
Yeah.
Airbnb host was like, "You're fine, don't worry about it." We're like, "Ah," like running out screaming. Like, yeah, it was a struggle for me to get into the ocean because I don't like being in it when you can't see. And
Okay.
the water is crystal clear in St. Thomas, but when it's strong currents, then the sand moves and it gets hard to
Sure.
see. So
Yeah.
we were like, I don't know how far out we were, and the water literally was like up to my hips, and we were like it felt like miles away from the shore. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is like super cool. Like we can be this far out and it's up to my hips, but the waves were so big, like we were ducking, but we were out there for a while. But anyway, I'm just thinking like I could die. Yeah, the ocean scares me because I'm like, I don't know what's under here. Like you can't
Were you guys
see.
playing mermaids?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
My favorite. I love that.
we were ducking and diving, and we went snorkeling, but only saw some a little bit of fish. We didn't snorkel that hard. Um,
Oh my God,
but yeah.
I'm dead. I am picturing the two of you
Joel.
just like diving into the waves. Like I am I am always gonna be
Uh,
down to play mermaids. I don't care how old I am. I
so
don't care
fun.
who is around, but like we are playing mermaids. And like
So fun. I
if
mean,
you're
if I
not
could play
down
in
with
my
it,
yeah, if I
yeah.
could play in my bathtub where my whole body just fits, I'm still playing mermaid, I'm gonna play
Yeah.
in the ocean.
Yeah, we're gonna go when we get to meet up. We are gonna go to my parents' house because they have a pool and they converted it to saltwater. So it really does
Oh,
feel like you're playing like straight up mermaids. And it's like
oh my God.
so it's like we are going to play mermaids and
100%. And I am like obsessed with saltwater currently because
oh,
let me
it's
tell
so
you,
good.
my psoriasis, if I would have had another week at the ocean,
Yeah.
it would have been healed. Like the first day it like burned like a mofo, and then we were in the water literally every day from the day we got there. Well, besides the day we got there, the next day we were in it every day. Besides, I guess the day we left. But my psoriasis was healing so fast. I'm like, "This is amazing." I come home the next day, I'm like, "And we're back to square one." And I've tried to, like, replicate it with, magnesium, like, with a, Epsom salt bath, and I think it did, like, the opposite. So now I ordered Dead Sea water or Dead Sea salt. Yeah, Dead Sea salt.
Salt, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do, like, an Epsom style bath with that and then do, like, a hair
Ooh.
mask with it, and hopefully that's gonna help.
Yeah.
But, oh my god, if I had a saltwater, pool, I would literally live in it. Live in
And it's
it.
like so good for your hair too, just like
Yes.
comparatively, like oh my God. And like it doesn't feel tight on your skin and oh my
Amazing.
God. It's so good. It's great. I'm like, if you, I know you don't drink, but like being at the beach and hungover, you dive your ass right into that ocean, no hangover. You are saved.
Wow, I
You're
didn't know
saved.
that.
Or like,
Your
or if
soul
I'm
is
like,
saved.
you're literally saved. Like it is so
You're
crazy because like
baptized.
the water's cold, you get that rush. It's like taking like a cold plunge, just like resets
Mm.
everything and you're like, "Oh, all right. I'm not gonna die today."
Ah, I love that. Oh,
I
I
like
want
need
it.
to go to like warm weather beach like now.
Oh, let me tell you, like I've barely been here for, like, the cold season, and it's been
Yeah,
amazing, but now I'm like, "I should have went to Mexico a little bit later so that I missed all of this," like, coming home from it was 70 to 80 degrees every day in St. Thomas. Like, it rained the day we left, that was it. Perfect weather, very little humidity, like, if any, barely anything. Like, it
really?
just because it's their winter right now. So, their winter right
Right.
now is no humidity, 70 to 80 degrees, and the water's a little bit colder, so the locals go to the pools, and then we come up and they're like, "You're crazy 'cause you're going
Yeah.
in the ocean." We're like, "It feels so good."
Oh my god, that's, like, probably it's such an ideal time to go, and it's probably a little bit cheaper because it's, like, off season.
We got there right before the season started, so, like, when we were leaving is, like,
Wow.
when the season started, basically.
You fucking hacked the system right there. That's
And we
everything.
we literally were, like, planning this vacation, like, within a couple of days, like, it was like I'm
Yeah.
like, "Are we even gonna go?" Like, that's how late to the game we were for planning this vacation, but
That's kind of like the awesome thing about, like, being have you heard the term, like, DINKS?
I love being a dink.
I am I love the idea that you and Joel can just, like, pick up and do whatever you
Yep.
want, like, 3 days in advance. You're like, "Sure, let's do this." Like, that is the iconic fucking part of it. That's amazing.
If you're not sure what a dink is, it's a
Oh, yeah.
double income, no kids. That's what a
If
dink
you
is.
don't know what a dink is, then this is
You're not
not
a
the
dink.
podcast for you. Yeah,
No.
yeah,
No,
you are
no, no,
not a
no.
dink.
Gotta be a
I saw
dink.
this one. I saw this one, it was, like, something about, like, it was, like, somebody used it for, like, a cat. Like, they made it, like, dual income, like, cat parents or something. Like, it was something, like, funny like that, and I was just like, iconic. But
Yeah.
it's just so, like, freeing, like, when people talk about, like 'cause you made a TikTok about, like, not wanting to, like, have kids and all that sort of stuff, and it got picked up by, like it was on, like, the news somewhere, right?
I can't remember which news segment it was,
Right.
but I think I have the other I made a thingy on it, like, showing it. Yeah, but
Yeah.
they were interviewing some woman, kind of like me, health coach. I don't know what she does specifically, and her husband chose to not have kids. And then
Yeah.
they were just showing, like, how people on TikTok are
Yeah.
talking about this. So I was one of the videos
Yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
showed for, like, 2 seconds. It's like, "Woo!" You
You're,
know?
like,
Um
clouded up. Yeah.
Literally. But yeah, but it was just like lots of people are choosing not to do that. And funny story, I was gonna bring this up. This is like the perfect because we're talking about it. When we were in St. Thomas, we were going to like the one convenience store on our side of the island because we stayed where like no one was because
Okay.
we hate people. You know what I mean? And,
Relatable.
we didn't wanna be, like, in the touristy area.
Yeah.
So, we're talking to this guy, his name was Omar, and, he owns this convenience store. We're just, like, getting groceries, whatnot, and then we get into this, like, 20-minute discussion with him, like, who he is, what he does, and he was saying how, like, him and his wife, he's like, we can only party and for so long, and, of course I want kids. I have 5 kids. I want more kids." We're like, "Oh, that's cool, like, you have that." And he looked at me, he goes, "She's probably ready for kids, aren't you?" I was like, "No, we don't want kids." And he was like,
Oh.
like, it literally looks like I took a knife and was like, like in his stomach. Like, he was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't want kids." He's like, "Well, how long can you keep partying and doing" I was like, "I don't party." Like, and I was just like,
Yeah.
how, like, small-minded to think, like he's like, "Well, we don't have a purpose without kids and this and that." I'm just like, "What do you think I do?" Like, I
Yeah.
don't party. Like, I have a lot of things that occupy my time. I'm like, just because I don't want kids doesn't mean I don't have a purpose in my life.
Yeah, that is I love that you're able to bring that, like, energy to the podcast because it is just such a good, like you're such a strong woman and, like, such a strong reminder that, like, it is okay to speak out and, like, to live your life in the way that you want to do it. And there are so many people that feel so entitled to be like, "Oh my god, you don't want kids," or "You don't have kids yet," or "Are you guys trying?" or whatever. People feel so entitled to talk about your sex life when it involves the idea of children. And it's like, "What in
Mhm,
the fuck?" Like, maybe I
mhm.
don't want kids. Maybe we're having trouble conceiving. Maybe who the fuck knows? Like, there's so many things, and so I love that you are able to just, like, be, like, your fucking self about it, and you're like, I have a lot of fucking things going on with my life. I am not defined by a child or not having a child. Like that is such a small part of who you are, and it's just, oh my god, I feel like you get on the wrong side of TikTok sometimes and you see these
Uh,
cringy ass men and they're like, "I want a pleasant wife that is cooking me meals and, that's taking care of our children." And I'm like, "Ugh, ugh." Like, what this is like the Bridgerton era. Like, this energy is like pissing my pants because I can't take off my layers of clothes. Like, who is thinking like this? Oh my god, it's so
I can tell you
crazy.
who's thinking like this. Emotionally unavailable and emotionally abusive men.
Mm,
That's who's
mm,
thinking
mm,
like this.
mm. Don't literally. It's like,
Yep,
why is the default to have kids? You're a woman, you're married, kids. Like, why is that the
I
default?
know.
So fucked.
I mean, you're asking like rhetorical question. I feel like it's just so like ingrained, like in
Right.
our, in
Totally.
our like history of people, and that's just like, and some people like, I love people, I think you're kind of like this, like you knew when you're little, like I can't wait to
Yeah.
be a mom. I think
Yeah.
that's so cool. Like when I was little, I was like, I can't wait to never be a mom. Like
Yeah.
I just knew. And I think that's super cool. Like I'm never gonna be like to someone, you have kids, oh sorry,
Right.
like I don't think that. I think that's awesome if that's what you want, but I think there's just such I think people that have kids and like really love their kids get upset when they hear people that don't want kids and are vocal about it, because then they're like, why are you hating on people that don't have kids? Like, or that have kids?" And we're like, we're not hating on it. It's just
Right.
there's more people hating on people for not having kids and saying they don't have any, like, you're missing out in your life, you're missing this, or you
What
don't
if
know what
you
real love
regret
is.
it?
Yeah, what if you regret it? I mean, look on
Right.
freaking Reddit with people on Reddit. There are so many threads. People are like, I regret being a mom. And how many people do you know, like from the boomer age, where they're like, well, I got pregnant and then, I guess I had to get married. And then they're like in a loveless marriage and they hate their lives, but, they love their kid in the end. Like, I'm sorry, but like, that's not on my agenda to do.
Right. Yeah, it's no, it's so crazy, and I think the what you brought up, the idea of people that do have children getting so offended of like,
Yeah.
"You don't want children, but you don't like my children?" It's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, lady. Like, this actually has nothing to do with you and your kids."
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure, like, if you have nieces, nephews, cousins, like, whatever, you love them because, like,
Yeah.
you're a person and you love your people. But,
Hmm.
like, it's so crazy, like, I'll read, like, comments or whatever on TikTok, I go down the rabbit hole, and it's like, "How could you not want this child alive?" And it's like, "Okay, bitch, like, just because, like, that is your thinking does not mean
Yep.
you need to put that on, like, every other person." It's so crazy, and I think it's, like,
Yep.
with TikTok and, like, social media, like, now more nowadays, people are speaking up and advocating and be like, "Look, like, let's normalize, like, whatever it is that you're wanting to do," because I'm sure, like, even, 10, 20 years ago, people that chose to not have children, they probably, like, got the same shit, but they didn't maybe feel like they could, like, speak upon it or maybe knew as many people,
And they
right?
weren't like, yeah, they weren't in like the public as much, getting so many
Yeah.
opinions thrown at you. So it's like not
Yeah.
as like loud. And
Yeah.
what was I gonna say? It's like the same thing. Like, okay, another good example, like a metaphor here or whatever, simile. Um, like if we talk to someone who works for someone, you don't want to run your own business. Like
Oh, yeah.
you don't want to work 1,000 hours and make like nothing for the first 5 years. You don't want to dedicate your rest of your life to doing something that like might
"Hey,
have no
boss babe,
return.
you wanna
Yeah,
quit your
like,
9 to 5?" Like,
but it's just like it's the same thing, like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I really, really try not to yuck people's yum. I did this the other day, and I was like, "Dang it, I'm really trying not to do that." Like, or someone's like, "Oh, I love, Apple, whatever," and then I'm like, "Ugh, I hate Apple." Like, I try not
Mm.
to do that. Like, people like the stuff they like, and, we all like different stuff, but I'm never gonna be like, "Oh, aren't you gonna regret giving up your life to those things?" Like, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
do that, like,
Yeah.
you do what makes you happy, but yeah, I think there's always going to be more people yelling at people for not having kids and saying you're missing out. Like, compared to there's less people, less of us thinks, commenting on parents' posts and be like, goodbye life,
Yeah.
like I'm not doing that. Maybe behind closed doors to my sister because we do that to each other. Like we're like, we lost another one who announces their pregnancy, like those things. That's what we always do. But in good fun. Like it's
Totally. I mean, like, let's be real. We shit talk to our sisters. Like, it's
yes.
what we're
Yes.
doing. Like, peace and love. It's what we're doing. It's like it builds the foundation of a
Yes.
relationship with your
Yes.
sister. And I'm like, does your sister live like close to you?
She moved to Colorado.
Okay, so kind of like same energy. Like a lot of
Yeah.
like the, conversations or like communication is like over FaceTime and that sort of stuff. So like sometimes, you know what, the bonding happens over the
I
shit
know.
talking and
I
let's
know.
let's normalize it. I low key can't stand people sometimes. Oh, but like, I don't want to talk badly, blah blah blah. And it's like I'm not saying it to somebody's face. Like, isn't it better if I express feelings behind closed doors and then I can kind of like resolve it and like be done with it versus like being like a fucking psycho?
I guess it depends what you're talking about. Like, I almost think back in high school and like I feel like just gossiping happened all the time. And
Of
now,
course.
that
Of
I'm
course.
I'm the ripe old age of how old am I? 27. I'm like, What do I even have to gossip about? Like, there's nothing to talk about anymore. Like,
Um uh Anybody and everybody. Like
ah,
the lady at the grocery store that gave me like a fucking look, I'm gonna be talking about it to my sister for like 20 minutes.
okay, you're right, because something happened at the dentist's office and I did come
You're like,
home and
who do I have to gossip about? Oh, that bitch at the dentist.
I
Yes.
did come home and tell Joel, I'm like, listen to this. Like, this lady got so pissed at me because I didn't answer the phone. I was on vacation. I'm not answering the call from the dentist. I'm sorry, but I'm not. And then they
No.
sent me text reminders and I answered those like, yes or no, will you be coming to your appointment? YES. Send. And I get there and she's like, I called and texted you. I was like, and I responded. Oh, yeah. Like, I don't know, like, she made a big deal about it. I was like,
Like,
"Okay, lady, I have the
girl,
receipts. Do you want to see the message I sent?"
I have the receipts.
Literally. But that's what my shit talking was. I came home and Joel and I was like, "This new receptionist."
You're like, we are finding a new place to go get our teeth cleaned. This lady just came at me, and he's like, maybe she like didn't really come at you. You're like, no, 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 you were not there. You have no idea. No, but like honestly, especially like low key working for yourselves, working from home, like limited interaction most days.
Yes. Yes.
So if I am going to go out into the grocery store and something happens, you better believe I'm telling my mother, I'm telling my sister, telling James. Like it is happening. I'm telling the people because I'm like I got the limited interaction besides like you. Maddie, like you're never gonna believe what just happened.
Literally though, literally. Oh god.
Which
There was go
yeah,
ahead.
my therapist says it is therapeutic. You know what? So hate me or love me, but my therapist says, sometimes shit talking is therapeutic. So
Oh, I like that. I like
because
that.
if you're gonna say, like, if you're having, a beef with a friend, sometimes it's better to get the first rant out to somebody else, and then maybe they can provide perspective, or maybe you cool down a little bit. Maybe you can collect your thoughts. And then you don't have to like go off
On
irrationally.
that true. I
Yeah.
like that's a
Yeah.
good point. Yeah. But do you ever have friends that like talk about the same issue over and over and over and over and then you're just like,
I'm bored.
"What? Oh yeah." Like I and now that I've aged, I just feel like when people come
Bitch,
to me
you
this
are like, now that I've aged, you are crazy.
No, I'm just saying, like, you think about when you're younger and how
Yeah.
that happens, and now I'm just like, "Hey, like, we've discussed this before. Like, I don't know why you keep doing the same thing over, but you're not gonna get something different. Like, why are you still doing that?" Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just much more, like, to the point because 'cause I'm just like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like and coddle you, you know what I mean? If you just wanna
Yes.
blow off steam, but if you want my real opinion, I'm gonna give it to you.
Yeah. I love that energy because how many times And if you guys are like watching on YouTube, comment below. How many times do like a friend, a family, like, somebody come to you with the same problem? You give
Um,
them advice and then they never act on the advice. And then a
yep.
month later, a week later, whatever, same thing. And it's like, I got to lower my expectations because if you're actually never
Yeah.
taking my advice, like I'm getting frustrated. I got to
Yeah.
stop getting frustrated because you're never actually going to take it. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, I cannot because we're very similar in the fact that like if we come to each other and it's like, "Hey, I got this problem or whatever." We're going to say, is it do you want a vent or do you want a solution? And
Yep.
then we're going to act on the solution. We're not gonna come back around a week later, "Oh, Maddie, it's still, this, and this." Like, I'm not gonna bring that energy to you because we are gonna act on it, right?
Yep.
Like, we're gonna
Yep.
get the shit done, and I'm not saying that, like, it's the worst thing in the world if, maybe you procrastinate a little bit on, like, following through with the solution, but just, like, be mindful of how much you put on your friends and like how much of your problems you kind of like let go to them because like, it can be
Mhm.
very very draining for the other person to constantly be like listening to the same fucking story and it's like girl I gave you the advice take the
Yeah.
advice or stop bringing it up.
And now that you say that, like, I notice I do have that with a few friends, and it's like, I don't know, sometimes, like, do you ever leave interactions with friends and you're like, "Oh god, I'm so drained." And then, like, when I leave interactions, like, when we leave recording, like, I don't feel that way with you. It's, like, very odd. I think it's because we're both, like, on the same level of thinking, like you said, like,
Mhm.
we would like, you know me, like, if someone says, "Oh, we're gonna do this," I will follow the F through. Like,
Yeah.
don't offer me something, I will follow through about it, like, through and
Guys,
throughout. Like, I am very diligent about that. And,
Maddie
like,
texted me that the other day, and I'm like, "Bitch, like, if I am the same way." Like,
Yeah.
that's the energy you want in a friendship.
Yeah, and it's like, if you leave a friendship hangout, like a friend hangout, and you're effing drained, like, might need to reassess that friendship because something is not right there, And I definitely still have
Yeah,
those here and there. Like, I'm just like, I reassess, like, what am I doing here?
yeah.
But like, I don't ever leave that with you and podcasting. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm so drained by Ali. Like, I don't feel that way, which is which is a good thing, right?
You're like, "Bitch, hang up that Zoom call. I'm done. I am done." No, but it is really I feel like it's rare as you get older to find those people that get you and, like, are really on the same wavelength as you because it can be so hit or miss, especially like you guys listening to this. We've never met in person. Like as silly as that sounds and like
I
as
know.
good as we get along, it's
Hmm.
like kind of funny, but it's just like when you meet that person and like you're on the same energy and you click, it's like the vibe is there. And like if you're
Hmm.
not feeling the vibe there with some of your like the people in your life, it's okay to either like distance yourself or like let people go. I think how do you feel about this? Like a lot of people again, a lot of things I see on TikTok, like people are like so active about talking about like putting up boundaries with certain family members and distancing themselves or really just protecting their peace. And then I'll see people in the comments, well, that's your mother, that's your father, like that's your sibling, like they are your family, like you can't shut them out. What are your thoughts?
I think just because you're related by blood doesn't mean that you have to keep someone in your life. I
Yeah.
truly don't.
Yeah.
But also, like, I think it's like takes two to tango. Like, there's always could be something that you did or you could do better, or you could still learn from that, or, find a way maybe that keeps them in your life in some capacity and then like setting up boundaries in others. But yeah, I don't think like you need to stay in touch with someone just because they're related by blood, especially if they're like causing you like traumatic, emotional, mental pain. Like cut
I
them out.
agree.
Like goodbye.
Cut that shit out like cancer. I agree because there are so many people like in my personal life that are family, but they're not like blood family. And that as a kid, it never like phased me. Like my best friend, when she's like 7, 8 months older than me, I used to tell people, "Oh, yeah, we were born in the hospital in the same day, and, like, her mom and my mom, like they were both there because like they worked together and like blah blah blah. Like I was like Delulu, but like we grew up together. I've never known life without her and her family, and like I don't call like them like my aunt and uncle, but like they are like my second parents. And so like I think I get triggered by those types of comments where like you can't cut people out because it's like I'm already, you may already be feeling vulnerable and now somebody in the comments is telling me what like I can or shouldn't do. I think is
Mhm.
it's like so cringy. It's like is that some boomer energy or is that just like a really
Yes.
like trad energy, like traditional like lifestyle man?
Ooh, well, boomer energy and trad energy are like similar, they
Very
kind of
similar, yeah.
come like it's like you can't, I don't want to say you can't be a boomer without the trad, but you can have the trad without being a boomer,
You're right. You're
you
right on
know?
that one.
Yeah. So I think they're the same unless, you're younger.
Right.
But yeah, yeah. Like I don't think like now that I think about it now, like I don't have that in my family because they're like all dead. You know what I mean? The most toxic ones are dead, let's be honest.
I
I've
literally am gagged. Oh
and
my
I have a
god.
I have a very small family here, like grandma's dead, grandma's boyfriend's dead. I have a great cousin. I don't really see her. She lives in another state. That's my mom's side of the family. And
Okay.
then my mom's best friend, he's been in our life like our entire life. So I see him as like just part of the family.
Yeah.
Um, and then the rest are in Mexico. So like I don't, only see them when I go to Mexico or they come up here. And that's just my grandma that I see in Mexico and my two aunts, and then my cousins on occasion, and then their parents on occasion. So like my uncle, right?
Mhm.
Grandma's siblings. Um,
That would be like a great uncle.
great uncle, yeah. And that's really it. Like I don't have like a huge like, where you go to Christmas and it's like all of these people,
Oh, no, me neither.
It's yeah, so I mean, Joel has more and, there's always different family dimensions, dynamics with your
Dynamics, yeah.
dimensions, dynamics with the spouse, but yeah, I personally don't have that because like I said, they're all dead. Um,
Shout out.
but yeah, shout out to the dead, R.I.P. But yeah, and luckily never really had to deal with that, so that's a plus.
Yeah, it's I feel like especially like millennials, Gen Z, because like technically I am Gen Z because like 1997, but like I call myself a cusper because I definitely relate more with millennials in certain aspects because I am like older Gen Z, but I feel like these generations are like so much better at like protecting our peace, going to therapy and not seeing it as a bad thing, setting boundaries and just like really like doing what is good for us. And of
Mhm,
course, there are some people that like are not doing that, but for the most part what you
mhm,
see online is like really encouraging and really awesome because I started going to therapy when I was, like, in high school, and I was mortified. Like, I did not tell anybody. I had to, like I got
mhm,
pulled out of school early, like, once a week to go. I was so mortified. And
mhm.
now I'm over here on, like, fucking social media, like, "Take your meds, go to therapy." Like, it's just such a better energy, and, like, there's no
Mhm,
I mean, in my circle, there's, like, no stigma, and it's like, that's the vibe. Like, can we just continue carrying this energy? Like, imagine how much better off the younger generations are going to be because of, like, millennials and Gen Z. Like, the energy and the tone that, like, we are setting for, like, just a lot of the way that you can live your life as well. Like, it
mhm.
just oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, hopefully
I'm
it will
here for it.
just keep progressing,
Yeah.
and getting
I mean,
better.
fingers crossed, we can't get worse.
We've reached rock bottom from the
I
boomers.
can't I can't go any lower. It's not good.
One thing I feel like has really, really changed, and like I'm not even in this world, I just think it's funny because I just see it
Yeah.
on TikTok and social media, is like how like the boomer mentality is like, you stay at a job, you give them all your hours, like you don't leave. And now like my
Mm.
sister, like shout out to my sister, like literally started her career, like what was one of her big girl first jobs? Worked at a porta potty company, which sounds weird, but it was a small company, and she was
Yeah.
like the like, website designer type thing.
Yeah.
That's what she did for them. all the way up to like a pretty high position with FedEx. Like she just
Nice.
jumped,
Yeah.
jumped, 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 and kept going, and like
Yeah.
makes a same difference than where she started out of college. And I look at my mom, just like, how do you like still like stay in these like, and it's just like that mentality of how many people were like, I have to stay at this company. They're
Yeah.
gonna
They
toss
don't
you.
care.
No, no. And I love how now it's like people are not like, I love the videos where it's like, oh, we need to call a meeting. It's 4:59. They're like, oh, okay, bye. And then they
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
click off.
yeah, because it's like I am not, excuse me, I am not
And
going to
emotional.
go, yeah. I am not going to go above and beyond for a company that does not care about me, that is not paying me extra for my time. Like, I
Hmm.
love those, like, I forget who she is, but she's like corporate girly and like she does all these videos, like how to respectfully, like, essentially tell your boss to
Oh
fuck off.
yeah, I've seen that.
I
Remy has
love
joined the party.
Aw, Revy. I love those videos because it's like, let's normalize that, like, your work is your work. These are your hours. If you need to contact me after hours, I will get to it first thing in the morning because nothing like is that crazy urgent for a
Yep,
lot of jobs. And this
yep,
like boomer Gen X mentality, oh, it's just 5 more minutes, it's just our 10 minutes, 30 more minutes. And it's like, unless you're paying me for that, then
yeah,
we will discuss it the next day. And it's just
yep.
another really great example of setting the boundary and just being able to live your life how you want to. Like if you hate your job and you're making okay money, but like you hate it, you're unfulfilled, you can get another job. You don't owe that company shit. But I don't know why it's like ingrained into like their brains like that.
I think it's like depression. If you're a boomer and you've noticed about yourself and you feel brave enough to comment below
Girl,
why
what boomer is listening to this?
someone out there maybe. My mom, I know she listens. Sorry, mom. But I told her this before, so it's not like nothing new.
Sure.
But where was I going with this? Oh, no.
If
Okay, you
you're a
have to cut.
boomer and you're listening to this and you want to comment, like were you saying like,
Oh, here we go. It's
yeah.
back. I Side note, I really wish we could do like ASMR because Remy's laying on me and purring. It's so cute.
Oh my God, I love
You know
her.
this bitch hates me too, so like she must
She
be
just
real needy.
yeah, she knows you're busy. She's like, "You're working, so you're actually gonna pay attention to me."
And she's like hugging me is really cute. Anyway, I feel like I feel like it's part of the mentality because like aren't they like kind of Great Depression babies, boomers?
Yeah, they are like post World War II. Like
Okay.
all the soldiers came home, pregnated up their wives and
And those are the babies.
babies. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's like that where they like think they have to take whatever they can get.
Yeah, yeah,
And
which
it's
yeah,
like the famine mentality, like stay in this job, like I have to give them everything because they'll replace me. I'm like, bitch, replace them. Like they don't care about
yeah,
you. Do you know what I mean? I
yeah,
think that's part of it, like that mentality and like the age too. Like I know that was something that like
yeah.
people were feel fearful of. Like, how am I gonna find a job at this age I'm at? But like I don't know. I've never applied for a real job.
Yeah,
You know,
I
I've
would yeah, I think the age aspect is valid because if I'm to be fully honest, if I'm on a hiring committee, I'm and I don't know, this is probably ageist, but like whatever. I'm not gonna hire like the 68-year-old person
okay,
if I'm
well,
working at like a
68.
if I'm
Right,
working at like a
68.
tech company. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, are they going to be the most qualified? Like let me check their resume, let me see what they're doing, but, like, at the end of the day, companies have they make decisions that are gonna be best for them, um, but I think, they probably have all this, like, ingrained trauma, so it's like, I'm staying
Mhm.
in this job, and now I feel too old to do
Yeah.
something different because they never let themselves have that opportunity, like,
Yep.
after being in a job for 10 years, "Oh, I can't leave because it's already been 10 years." Well, you're still young, you can still
Yeah.
go and change your career path if you want
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I that totally makes sense. It's probably a lot of fear built into, like you
Mhm.
said, and
And it's probably just,
worry
like,
and
almost like in the DNA, it's just, like, fear.
Yeah.
trauma. It's like,
Literally.
fuck.
What was the last one? Fuck? Is that what you said?
Fear, trauma, fuck.
Oh.
I don't know. Like my brain is just
War.
exploding. War, like shit is not good. And then that
Uh,
gets passed down to your children because my dad's a boomer,
yeah.
my mom's Gen X. And I'm like, why am I so stressed? Maybe it's that like legit trauma passed down in my DNA.
Wait, what is Gen X? What year is that?
My mom was born in 1967, so I don't know
Oh crap.
when.
When was my mom born? I forget. How old's your mom?
Uh, she's either turning 56 or 57 in February. And my
How old's my
dad
mom?
is, I think my dad's 67 or 66, something
Oh,
like that.
hmm. Excuse me. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. My parents are in there. I'm always like, they're 52. Like, they're
No,
not
your parents are
52.
young. You
They're,
I feel like you sent me a picture when you guys were in
yeah,
Mexico, and I was like, holy
yeah.
fuck, your parents are
Oh.
young.
They're in their, I would say mid 50s, maybe. I can't
So
remember.
they're
I
like
just,
probably Gen X.
okay, yeah, they're Gen X. My dad
But I
doesn't
feel like
count.
a lot of like Gen X can give boomer energy.
Yeah, but I don't think my dad counts when you look at like that side because like his upbringing was in Mexico. He was there for like 18, 19 years.
Right.
So it's like hard to say like then again like he's been here longer now that he's been in Mexico, was in Mexico now for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's in his 50s, but yeah, I feel like I don't know. That it's to round it out like that mentality is definitely not with people today, which is cool. But you see people, reaching better income levels, better jobs, better careers, like, all that cool stuff.
And I think now we and like millennials, Gen Z, like we respect the side hustle. Like
Mhm.
do the thing that you love, but also if it's not making you money yet to the point where like you feel financially secure, do it and be passionate about it, but still do other things that are going to make you feel financially secure. And like get to the point where like your passionate thing is going to be that sole income. Like we're not afraid to do what needs to be done to have this career, what we're passionate on, like happen and be a thing because like we know
Mhm.
we're like I'd rather do this than have to
Mhm.
like work in my 9 to 5 and hate my job. And some people love their 9 to 5 and shout out, love that for you. But if you're, more on the entrepreneurial side, like Maddie and myself, a lot of people now like they respect the hustle. They're like, I don't give a fuck. Like I'm doing DoorDash, I'm on Rover, I'm,
Mhm.
doing VA work for something, and I still get to work on a business that like brings me passion. And like
Mhm.
I love that.
Mhm. I do low key am jealous of people who can go to work, come home, and be like,
Yeah.
nothing's in my brain. Like I do
Yep.
wish I had that. But I think for me personally, working on like detaching myself from my business more has been really helpful. And also
Yeah.
having more fun in my business, that's been really helpful too. But yeah, I think and honestly, like, not that this is like our realm at all, but like I kind of feel like it's almost impossible to reach really, 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 really good, like big levels of wealth if you aren't like diversifying your investments, diversifying like what you do and like,
Yep.
having different businesses and like, I mean, that's what you want to do. But I really feel like it's like now impossible to be like
Yeah.
ultra levels of success without having different, sources of revenue. Like I love,
Yeah. 100%.
I've always had multiple streams of revenue, like since I was young, like having multiple jobs because what if this fails or what if that fails? And
Yeah.
now I'm like, I want to have multiple streams of revenue now.
Yeah. Like I especially since we are like having we have a wedding coming up, we have big changes happening. No, I'm not pregnant because I feel like whenever you say that, that's what people assume. But I just don't want to talk about it yet. Um, but I have been nannying and just like working my ass off with work and then nannying because like I love children, love nannying. It's great to do with work, and then I also get to build up my client base and work on content and like have like get to be so appreciative that like I can make extra money and like have multiple streams of income in, and I'm doing things that I actually enjoy. And like just because and Maddie and I have mentioned this on other episodes, but just because like you own your own business doesn't mean that like the dollars and cents are coming in every day so easily. Like it's a struggle sometimes. So like I love that we can be in a position where like we get to do our passionate thing and then also bringing in other streams of revenue and like some of the shit is just like I always see these girls on TikTok like doing like fun little ways of like making money and I'm like I love that. Like I follow this girl, she's like 100 days of like making extra income. And I'm like I love that
Hmm.
for you. Like she works a 9 to 5 and she shares all these like other things that she does. And I'm like this is great. Like this is the energy that like we all need because do you feel like there's so many businesses out there that are like reach success 10K months if by doing these steps. And
Oh,
it's like
yeah. Yeah.
bitch like actually being a business owner is far more complicated than like these three
Yeah.
steps. Like we're working with
Yeah.
people.
No, I
It's
agree.
crazy.
Like, if you could have, I could see you like running like a nannying like side hustle where you're like kind of like hire a coach, hire a nanny, and like, you like travel to go nanny for families. Like, would you do
Yeah.
that?
What do you mean travel?
Like, maybe not. I guess like it's a little bit easier like coach because you can do that virtually. You can't nanny
Yeah.
virtually. So
Yeah.
that's a little bit tougher. But would you do it like with your nannying now, like are you like really trying to build that clientele up?
So it's actually really funny because when we got to Vermont, I was just like, we had the move, everything. I wasn't really looking to bring on anything, but then as soon as like we got engaged, I was like, oh shit, weddings are expensive, and let's see what we can do to bring in extra income. And so I went to like Facebook groups and I just commented on everything. I posted about myself, whatever. I got one opportunity. And then from there, this family knew of a girl who had kind of a network. So the lady who had the network sent my number
Ah,
to like 5 or 6 different people. So I've
cool.
been able to work with a couple different families. Some's just like a random date night. Some is like a couple days a
Ah.
week. Some's for like, oh, I'm going on vacation. Would you be able to like be here during the week while before my husband gets home from work, whatever. So I have unintentionally done that,
Mhm.
and it's been, like it's so nice because I also have created a lot of relationships, like, with these like, a lot of the moms that I've talked to, they're like, "Oh, I see, like, you also do, like, nutrition coaching, like, what does that look like?" And it creates conversation
Oh,
and
yeah,
interest, and I've
yeah.
worked with some of them in that capacity as well because they get to see me that I'm with their kids. They're like, "Oh, cool. Like I know her. I trust her. Like this makes it a little bit easier." So, I kind of had the intention of doing that kind of anyways, like seeing who can I meet, what can I get into, and like if they are following me online, like now they're going to get to see what I do in this capacity, and it's kind of
Oh,
had a
cool.
crossover. And
Yeah.
also it like gets me out of the house.
No, I agree. That's, like, kinda how I feel about, like, the pet sitting. Like, I used to be really big
Yeah.
into pet sitting. Like, I had a bunch of friends I did it for, new people, X, Y, and Z, and my sister, I would pet sit at her house when she would go on vacation. She lived, like, in Timbuktu, Pennsylvania, and she asked me she asked me the other day if I would be interested in pet sitting for a family that lives there, and I was like I kinda was like, "Oh, yes, no, yes," because like, it was just so easy with my sister because it's my
Right.
sister. I felt comfortable staying at her house. I had my own bedroom there. She had an at-home gym, and I was like, "Do I wanna stay at stranger's house and, like, feel like I'm being watched the whole time?" And then, like, pet sitting for animals I don't know when, like, I'm terrified of untrained dogs, I really am. Like,
Sure.
I
Okay.
low key, I'm always gonna be afraid of that because like, you just don't know?
Yeah.
And stuff can happen, and I was like, "Do I wanna do that?" I was like, no." So I was like, "I'm gonna put the pet sitting thing on the" just for my sister, really, because I
Yeah.
trust her, I know her animals really well. But that's what I used to do a lot when I was
Yeah.
starting my business, and it's fun, like, doing
Yeah.
something that gets you out of the house, and, like, gets you doing other stuff, and you meet more people, and it helps grow your business, and that's what I do with, book clubs. I'm in how many book
Yeah.
clubs now? I'm in 3 book clubs now, and I meet more women, I make connections, I met someone really cool there. Her husband was a drug addict, and now he's her husband, father of, I think they have 2 or 3 kids, and they just created like a sober living house,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, and it's you have there are like specific rules. You cannot be under the influence of any drugs, anything at all. You have to have a job. You have to be in the house at a certain time, like all of
Mhm.
these things. And It's just cool to like hear like they did that, like out of because of her husband and what he was able
Yeah.
to accomplish. No, you just meet cool people.
Yeah.
But that's why I like to do that kind of stuff too, because again, it gets you out of the house.
Yeah, it gets you out of the house, and with our business, if we can actually, like, get in front of people, it creates just, more of a layer of trust, like, right?
Mhm.
Online is challenging, and we put ourselves out there, we share our stories, we make connections because that is how people trust us, and then when you can kind of do other things, if you go to, like, entrepreneur like women in business, that's what I was trying to go for, like meetups, or you do your little walk group or book clubs or different things like that. That's also a really great way if you're growing a business to like get yourself out there, because people want to like learn and talk with other people even though it might feel like awkward and kind of scary and you're like, oh, what do I say? It's like,
Mhm.
just, like, start the conversation, and, like, I'm the most awkward person, like, I get very, very weird with new people sometimes.
Uh-huh.
I just pretend I'm not. I'm just like, just put the smile on and do your thing," and then eventually, 5 minutes into it, I get comfortable, and I'm, like, myself. So, like, fake it till you make it, honey, and, like, just I don't know, I love the idea of just, like, being able to pick and choose what we wanna do that's, like, going to help us or that's gonna put ourselves
Yeah.
out there more, or just,
Yep.
like, do shit fun. Like, I'm definitely love the
Like, do
idea.
fun shit, you mean?
Oh, yeah.
Do shit fun.
Hi,
Looking
I'm
at so,
Allie, and, I
uh,
don't know how to speak.
so Allie has agoraphobia, tetraphobia. What's the other one? The one
Uh,
with the holes?
oh, the holes. Oh, what tritrophobia? We can't remember it.
Hydrophobia, and she's also dyslexic. It's right. 4, lovely 4.
The
Uh,
quadfecta.
Quattrefet? I don't
But I'm
know.
I'm afraid of the 4, so what do we do about that? This is not good, Daddy.
God.
But,
Okay, we
alright,
will keep
let's
talking.
wrap it because we're getting back into our
I
Delulu
know.
world, which,
I
I
know.
mean, like, if you guys want, like, 3-hour podcasts, just let us know.
We could make it happen. Oh, and if you didn't notice, this was a catch-up episode because it's been a
Yep.
hot minute since we did a good catch-up episode, and we just like, we're just living such crazy lives, jet setting here and there. We had to what?
I'm obsessed with you. I'm obsessed with you.
People were like, "You're just traveling everywhere this year. Like, how?" I was like, "I don't know. It's just
You're like,
happening."
"I'm delusional. That's
Literally.
how."
Literally. But what was I gonna say? This is really exciting. We also missed our last episode because we're officially into season 2 of the podcast because season 1, when did season 1 officially start? Like what month? Do you remember?
I believe it was September.
So do we say season 1 is September to September or like yearly, like annually, like calendar
Um
year?
I honestly think calendar year because, like, that just seems like it makes more sense. Because
Wait,
like,
is calendar year okay? Is that when you would go by January?
I yeah, I think, like, it's the start of a new year, it's the start of a new season.
Okay. I like that.
I mean, we can make our own rules, like, we're not like, again, like, we don't have anybody telling us what to do.
Ooh, let's get Delulu.
We're like a bad girls over here just being so crazy.
Oh God, we officially went to Delulu. My eyes are watering. This is definitely like a watch episode, so make sure you're watching
Yeah,
it.
watch it.
Um,
If you're listening to it, stop,
yeah.
go to YouTube, and rewatch it.
But this is exciting. We're in season 2. I feel like we have made such good progress from the first episode because the first episode, I remember like listening to it because I do the show notes, and Allie's like, "Blah, blah, 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 say hi, Maddie." I'm like, "Hi." I might go listen to that just to hear the first like 5 seconds because I take a second. You gotta I have many layers to get down to like my normal self. So I feel like we've just gotten so much more comfortable and and more fun and less
Yeah.
like we're podcasting. Like I don't want to be like that.
We
We're
are
not.
serious women podcasting.
I know. Like I feel like I'm not. I feel like I can be super serious and then I get boring in myself and I'm like, ugh, I feel like boring, blah. And I feel like I've been getting more into the groove. I don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
no, I agree. If I were to go back, which I might just do for like funsies, listen to episode 1 and just kind of be like,
Oh.
"Holy shit." Like and this is honestly why it's really cool to do things prepared but scared, right? Like Maddie and I prepped for so long. We had
Hmm.
everything laid out, but we were still kind of nervous to hit record that first time. She was like, "What if it sounds like
Hmm.
shit?" And I'm like, "It's going to. Like, it is 100% going to be awkward and weird, and we're getting our groove." And now we have this documentation to be like, "Oh my God, like, look at how we've grown. Look at the progress. Look at the change." And that is the coolest part of like starting any journey is like, take the pictures, get the footage, like, just start, have a plan, but you are allowed to be scared. So, I
Hmm.
think with all that being said, let's wrap a bow up on this bitch and take it out, Maddie.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching Kinda Hot, Kinda Healthy. Please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review us so we can reach more women just like you. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere you can stream podcasts. If you have a burning question about life, friendships, health, and want our 2 cents, email us at kindahotpod@gmail.com. That's KINDAHOTPOD@gmail.com. Bye.
Bye.